It's the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show sponsored by GGL. Hello, everyone. Nick Costco alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Howe. Matt, it's getting a little bit cooler outside. Fall is firmly in the air, but it's almost wintertime. Wrestling season just about a month away, and we're going to hear from some of the guys today. Head coach Scott Goodale as well. I'm excited, man. It's a whole new year, new era for Rutgers Wrestling. It seems like there's a sense of renewal in the air for Rutgers this year.
For sure. A lot of veterans back and a lot of really good new faces on this team. Loaded Big Ten schedule as always, Nick. It's going to be a really fun season.
We're always going to have those home matches on Big Ten Plus, of course, with Matt and I on the call. But let's take a look at some of the lineup questions this year. Not really many questions, Matt, other than who's back and who's going to be stepping up. So the returners, we know who they are. Dean Peterson, Dylan Shaver, Jaroslav Slavakuski, John Poznansky, Brian Soldano, Jackson Turley's back. A lot of guys are back, so a lot of the same faces from last year, including the two All-Americans in Shaver and Slavakuski. Can't forget about Poznansky and Turley having All-American accolades in years past as well. But it seems like these guys have as I mentioned before, that sense of renewal, and it seems like these guys are ready to hit the ground running this year.
Yeah, this is a team that brings back 7 national qualifiers, right? They finished 6th at the Big Ten tournament. Those are all key guys who have been here for a couple of years now. National tournament experience, Big Ten experience, that's huge on this team. And, you know, with the new faces that we're going to get to in a couple seconds, it's going to be exciting.
There are a lot of freshmen coming in. The number 4 ranked recruiting class in 2024. Rutgers had, again, best recruiting class in quite some time, arguably one of the best in Scott Goodale's tenure. So we'll talk to him in a little bit about that, as well as assistant coach Joe Pollard. But some of those freshmen right now, we've talked about them basically the entire summer, and obviously saw some of them during the media day availability. Connor Hare, probably going to be the guy at 157, maybe 165, but it looks like 57, 3-time state champion from Pennsylvania. He's looking really good, but he highlights this freshman class this year.
Yeah, Connor Hare, Andrew Barbosa from California. They went, across the country, snagged a great guy like him, and then Jersey guy, Alex Ninny, was fantastic for Christian Brothers Academy. Great career there, and a really good showing in the state tournament last year, too. He's going to make an immediate impact, hopefully. Like I said, Nick, with these young new faces who are some of the top recruits in the country, with the veterans on this team, it's going to be very, very fun. And speaking of new faces, new assistant coach Mikey Labriola, a 5-time All-American from Nebraska. He comes on to the staff this year. He's already been a great drill partner. I think we were just talking to Jackson Toy before. He said, I still can't even take him down. He's still that good. Great drill partner, eager guy, eager to get on the recruiting trail. It seems like he's ready to make a big impact in his first year on the staff. Yeah, you bring in a guy who's a 5-time All-American at Nebraska to your staff. I'd say that's a pretty good addition. Yeah, without a doubt. So we're going to talk to head coach Scott Goodale coming up next on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Back after this.
GGL originated in 1991 when Will Garces and Bill Grabler formed what was previously Garces and Grabler. I joined the firm in 2007 and revamped the personal injury department. Over the last 15 years, we've developed into a top litigation law firm.
I've been here for 33 years, and along the way, I do believe that we are a great firm. I know that I come to work every day and I like what I do. I love what I do. I help people.
Our special relationship with Rutgers University, the institution, the other students, I want to thank everybody. I'm very grateful, and I'm very, very proud of the special relationship we have with Rutgers University. God bless you all.
Welcome back to the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Nick Costco alongside my broadcast partner, Matt Howe. With us now is head coach Scott Goodale. Coach, good to talk to you again. New season, 2024-25 campaign right around the corner. It feels like preseason's been going on for quite a while, but obviously you guys are ready, even just a month out already.
Yeah, it's we've been training all summer, so we've had a lot going on all summer. We've had an Olympian, so the guy's been in the room helping Sebastian out. So we've been here together all summer, and then you get into the hours, your preseason, and now we're at the 20-hour level where it's October 10th means it's full go. So here we are, Jersey Mike's Arena, great place to train, excited about it. So hopefully we're looking for a good year.
Me and Nick talked about this roster this year. A lot of veteran guys back, along with some really good new faces in that recruiting class you got. What are your expectations for this team this year?
They're high. I think the guys have expectations, which is always good when it's run by the athletes that way, where they're talking about their goals and what they want to do. That's always, it's not so much coach-driven, which is awesome, right? They're super, super motivated. So, yeah, there's expectations here. And I think we talked a lot about the preseason. We just don't want to be the same team. I think, and again, I'm not trying to come off as arrogant or cocky or whatever. there needs to be another step, and we're just tired of being 14th in the country, 2 All-Americans, 8 qualifiers, whatever we finish the national tournament. It's just not good enough. We need to take a next step. And again, there's just high expectations. It comes from these guys. It's driven by the athletes, which is awesome for us. So that's kind of been the focus and the talk. But you can't get to March unless you get to October 15th or 16th, whatever it is today, and here we are today. We just got to get better today.
Just to piggyback off that, you mentioned how you don't want to be stuck in that rut of, we're going to send the whole lineup to nationals, only come away with 2 All-Americans and a couple other guys that are going to be, maybe about a match short. You have 4 All-Americans on this roster who have done it in the past. When you put that into perspective, as well as the talent of the other guys that have been there and also the new guys coming in, this could end up being a special season in your mind.
Yeah, I think so, and we're not afraid to talk about the expectations. I think it makes it exciting, and yeah, there's certainly expectations, but we have to take another step. We really do have to take another step. But you're right, we have 4 All-Americans. I think we have 11 or 12 guys that have been to the tournament, that have actually won matches at the national tournament. So that's pretty big. There's a lot of experience, and then you bring in this freshman class where you're going to see, 3 or 4 guys could probably wrestle at some point during the year, and these guys can wrestle. So it's a pretty good. But then we have some guys that are highly touted that need to take the next step, just like the team. I think if you talk about that area, guys like Dean Peterson needs to get on that podium, and Brian Soldano. But again, we're in October. And I know people watching will say, worry about what's in front of us, and they're absolutely right. Be where your feet are at. Let's keep getting better, but there's expectations, and we're not afraid to talk about them in this program.
Talk about some of the young guys on the team. Who has stood out for you, and who do you expect to make an immediate impact this season on your roster?
Yeah, when you talk about the youth, it might not just be the freshmen coming in, right?
Sure.
Guys like Shane Cartagena-Walsh, Max Hermes, Joe Fangaro have been very, very good. And there's a lot of battles that are going on in our lineup to see who actually starts for us. But obviously that freshman class is highly touted. Barbosa, Smith, Hare, Blanchett, Nini have all kind of stood out in that regard and have been really good as advertised and can train at a really, really high level. And then there's some of those young freshmen that need to get to that level we've been talking about, but there's talent there. So excited about those guys. There's some young guys that have been with the program that need to make an impact on the program. And then, like you said, we got some older guys that have won and can win at a high level. And but there is a lot of depth, which makes it interesting.
Speaking of guys that are making an impact, obviously Mikey Labriola on the staff this year replaces the outgoing Donnie Pritzloff. Not necessarily just like that, but he has been as you mentioned before, he's impactful in the room, drilling with the upper weight guys as well. He's a 5-time All-American for a reason. What's his impact been like since the coaching transition?
Like he wrestled, it's a nonstop motor. He'll train 2 or 3 times every single day because that's what these upper weights, these guys, they look at like 57 and up. They kind of want to go with them. They want to get their hands on them, and he wants to be there for them. So it's throughout the day, a lot of individual workouts that are going on. So it's his motor. It's the way he wrestled. He wrestled so darn hard, and I always respected how he competed. That whole program over there, how they competed, he was like the mainstay of that. Obviously, Jordan and James Green were pretty important to that program, but you get what I'm saying. Labriola had a heck of a career, and he's brought that same intensity every day to work, and it's been fun to be around, and someone who really is going to be a star in this career. And he's just starting out, so he's a sponge. He wants to learn so much. He's open to everything. It's just what I thought I was getting. And he's excited every single day, so it makes it exciting to come to work.
Coach, talk about the schedule a little bit this season. Obviously a loaded Big Ten schedule as it is every year, but, you got Virginia Tech again, NC State again. Talk about that and, that duel down in Toms River as well.
Yeah, I think, you try to schedule those early, best teams in the country, right? NC State's going to be a top 5 program. Virginia Tech's probably a top 5 program starting out. So you think about November, boom, right away. Gives you something to train for. Preseason means a little bit more, right? It means a little bit more for Dylan Shawver and Yara. They got huge matches coming up. So it means a little bit. So your preseason is a little bit different. There's feet to the fire, which is good. And, we'll wrestle down in Toms River, and that is an event that is not Rutgers' event. I just happened to get the arena for them because they were looking for an arena and happened to be close. And I live 2 miles from the arena, so that worked out well too. But it has nothing to do with Rutgers. Why aren't NC State wrestling at Jersey Mike's Arena? There's a reason for it, and and that's why we're doing it. And then we get to go on the road and just see how tough we are in Blacksburg. So that'll be cool. So, again, feet to the fire. We'll put a lot of emphasis on Midlands this year, which we haven't in a long time. We've sent 6 or 7 guys, a bunch of unattached guys. Midlands has changed. There's no unattached. So everybody's attached. Everybody will bring will be our lineup at the time, whoever that is at that time. And we'll try to really get up for that tournament and put some emphasis on the Midlands Championship. So now our Christmas break is pretty important to us. And then, of course, we get into the Big Ten. So just, again, another awesome schedule, and we look forward to it.
I'm interested in that feet to the fire comment because you guys are always trying to turn it up at a certain point during the preseason. Is this a preseason where you might find that you're doing a little bit more, maybe getting a little bit more amped than in years past?
I think with the coaching changes as well on our staff, I think our preseason has been a little bit different. I think we've done some things a little bit different to start with, which has been good, right? Change sometimes is really, really good. So I think in that regards, there's been a change. But listen, this is, at the end of the day, you got to take the map by yourself. It's an individual sport, and our guys are pretty smart. They know the schedule. They know who they have to wrestle. They're guys they're training for because they understand the impact of a big win, or in the case of a freshman, somebody like a Connor Hare or a Barbosa or a Nini. These are opportunities for them to put themselves on a national stage. So they're training for these big matches, and that's important. But our guys understand. They're students of the sport. They know the opponent, and they know what it could mean for our program, and we want to wrestle these big-time matches. That's why they came to Rutgers, to wrestle in these type of matches, and that's what we're going to do.
Hey, Coach Scott Goodale with us on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Coach, good luck this season. We're looking forward to watching the rest of this practice as well. And I like the little throwback shirt right there. That's a nice little more of that on the singles this year, or what?
You want one of these, Nick? Is that what you're saying? You want
Me
one
too.
of these?
I mean,
we got to gear you up. We'll gear you up.
You said it. I did.
We got a couple new singlets coming out this year. They're going to be really, really cool.
Well, there's a tease right there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing those singles as well. Head Coach Scott Goodale with us on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Welcome back to the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Nick Costco alongside Matt Howe. With us now is Coach Joe Pollard. Coach, great to talk to you. Obviously, we pulled you away from getting a quick sweat in there, but how's everything going for you in the preseason? I know it's a bit of a new transition this year, but it seems like everyone's already up to speed a month out from the season.
Yeah, it's been great, man. We're, this is our 6th week, right? Coming off starting preseason that 2nd week of September, and the guys have done a great job of really focusing on details and really they're becoming pros. Where we've had in the past, guys that are really good, guys that are talented, right? And they were able to get it done. And now it's kind of a team culture of being a pro, developing some pro habits, and making those decisions that are going to compound throughout the season.
Coach Goodale talked about this year, really wanting to take that next step as a program. I'm curious to know what you think that next step is and how that can be achieved.
Well, that next step really for us is being continuous top 10, top 6, getting up to that trophy contention team, right? And that's where we need to be. We need to have multiple All-Americans, 3, 4, 5 All-Americans a year. We need to have guys in the national finals, winning national titles like we did in 2019. And we have guys that, there's a standard set here, right? And the key is to not negotiate with that standard. What's the standard? I got to get to the standard, right? My goals are to get to the standard.
When you talk about that standard, it seems like this new freshman class is already living up to that standard based on the pro mentality that you've already had. Talk about this freshman class, ranked top 5 in the country this year. Some guys are going to make an instant impact on the lineup. What are your general impressions so far of this freshman class?
Yeah, man, these guys, they win. They're used to winning, right? They've won a lot in their life. They don't expect to not win. They don't expect to take a back seat to the country. And for them, it's, my goals are my goals. Right, and again, like I said before, we can't negotiate with what my training schedule is. I can't negotiate with what my class schedule is, or, hey, I expect to do this. I have a tough November. It's still the standard, right? The goal is a goal in March, right? So for them, it's going to be, sticking to that standard and sticking to their goals. But the way that they train and the way they approach practice every day, and the way that, a lot of them are students of the sport. But they also get that from a lot of our older guys too. Mm-hmm. Our older guys have really good wrestling IQs, and these younger guys are kind of feeding off that.
Coach, what about Mikey Labriola this season? You bring in a guy from Nebraska, 5-time All-American there. Talk about his impact in the practice room.
Labs he's a blue-collar guy, and he's a guy who there's no job too small. It doesn't matter what it is. He wants to come in the office. He really wants to come in the wrestling room and wrestle every day. The dude's a horse. There's no doubt about it. The guys love wrestling with him. They love competing with him. He's got a great demeanor about himself. There's some guys that come out of college and they're not sure where they're at in the coaching world, right? And for him, he's like, I just got to earn it. I want to earn everything I get. And he understands that, hey, man, I can use all my experience and help these guys to do things that I did and to do things that I was aspiring to do. But at the end of the day, he's a great mentor to these guys. He's done a lot of the things that they want to do. He's a blue-collar kid, and he's a guy who he fell in love with Rutgers, right? Hasn't been here that long, right? But I know he bleeds red from Nebraska, but now it's scarlet.
I have one more for you, Coach. And it's interesting you mentioned that blue-collar mentality because you guys have had that for so long, pretty much as long as you've been here. When you get somebody like that to, I guess, further push that forward to these guys, especially the young guys, what does that do for a program, knowing that it's all about that blue-collar hard work mentality?
I think it reiterates the points that we make. It reiterates kind of what we built this program on and what the foundation is of, doing the hard things, and nothing's going to come easy, and get up and go to work the next day. And, I got to make today my best day, right? If today's my best day and I can build on that tomorrow can be my best day, right? But that blue-collar mentality, what that does, it gets you up, you get to work, you don't expect anything to be handed to you, don't expect anything to be easy. I'm going to go out and take what I want, it's going to be hard.
Coach Joe Power with us right here on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Be right back after this. Welcome back to the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Nick Costco with you. And as well, I have two studs right here, two upperweight studs, Brian Soldano and John Poznansky. Boys, good to talk to you again. I feel like I've been talking to you for years now, but another year coming around the corner right here. John, I'll start with you. What are you looking forward to most this year? Again, you've been in the program for quite a bit now, and what's different about this year?
I think this year our team is really tight-knit. We have a really good squad. I've been here for 5 years, and this is the best team I've seen since I've been here. So I'm really excited for our team, really excited for myself. It's going to be a great year.
Best team you've seen, Brian. I'll echo the same question to you. Do you feel like this is the best team that you've seen so far in your time here?
I don't know if we'll be the best technique-wise, maybe because we have young guys, but it's probably the hardest working team we've had all year. I mean, it feels like we're in March already, how we're training.
When you talk about being in March already, some teams might say, well, we want to ramp up to that. Do you feel like you guys can maintain that type of pace and that type of work ethic from right now in October all the way through those 3 days in March?
Yeah, I think speaking about how we've done that mentality of wanting to be the top, we don't want to be any top 14 anymore. We're trying to break the top 10, and we want to be one of the best guys in the country. I think all the best teams have to maintain. So that's the only way I see ourselves making it to that top 5, top 10.
John, I'll ask you this because Coach Goodale has been echoing it pretty much all day, which was you want to get over that hump, and you've been over the hump before, being an All-American. Fell a little short last year, but getting over the hump, I guess, as a team, when you look at that, that's been the moniker for Rutgers over the last few years because there's been a lot of success. There's been national champions, there's been All-Americans. What's different about getting over the hump this year compared to the past couple of years?
I think from 25 to heavyweight, we have guys that can win, guys that could scrap, guys that could wrestle. Everyone's tough. I think just being able to elevate, me elevating him elevating me, it'll bring everybody up.
When you guys talk about elevating each other, who's getting the better of one another in the practice room right now, Brian or John? Who's winning these exchanges right now?
I think there's a little bit of a weight difference. That's the only reason. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I guess we'll leave it there. I'll leave you both here with this. We could talk about your teammates and staff ad nauseum, but the one guy I wanted to talk to you about was Mikey Labriola coming in the room. A big difference for you guys, him working with the upper weights. 5-time All-American himself. He's no longer a 74-pounder. I know he's probably about 190, 220 of pure steel at this point. What's it like working with him right now in the room?
Yeah, he's been great. He's a great drill partner. He's got a great flow. We scrap really well too. Just so having him in the room, really elevates our technique, really elevates the whole room. He's got great energy.
Brian, same question to you. What's it like working with Coach Labriola?
He's a guy who's still in shape. He just got out, and having a guy that's done what we want to do, it just helps you get that mentality into you.
Brian Soldano and John Poznansky with me right here on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Welcome back to the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Nick Costco alongside Matt Howe. With us now is two-time All-American, distinguished Rutgers alum, and dare I say the house that Parate built. Anthony Parate is with us on the program. Good to talk to you, man. How's it been for you since you've been out of the program for a little bit now? You're coaching, back here today. What's it been like for you?
I appreciate you guys having me, but it's been good, man. I kind of enjoy being a fan, rooting these guys on. I think they got the right guys right now. I've been to a couple practices, and they're training hard. I think they got a young group, a young core, so I'm excited for this year, definitely.
Talk about Coach Goodale's impact on you as a person and obviously on the program.
I mean, he's just a great guy. When people ask me about college and what, good he's done for my wrestling, I don't think of it like that. Just as a person, being a father and a husband and moving on in life, he's done so much for me. And I don't know if you guys know the backstory. I tried to quit a couple times when I was in college, and he told me this one quote that's kind of stuck with me. And he's like, if I let you quit now, it's going to make it easy for you to quit being a father, quit being a husband, quit your job. And that really stuck with me, especially now. And so just as a person, he helped me grow so much in life, and not even the wrestling aspect, but he's been a mentor to me, still is a mentor for me in life. So he's one of the best.
That quote right there, is that kind of how he operated with the entire program, basically since he got here and obviously to this day as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys know that Goodale, he gives, I just said it to him before, he just gives people the benefit of the doubt. 2, 3, 4, 5 chances. And sometimes he does get burned, but he's just always for the guys. He wants to see you succeed in life and not just on the mat. So I give him a lot of credit for that.
Outside looking in now, you're a little bit removed from the program than you were when you were wrestling here.
Listen, I'm getting old. I know.
What are your expectations for this team? What are you looking forward to this year?
I mean, the sky's the limit. I look up and down the lineup, and obviously you got Yara, Shawver. I mean, it's 2 returning All-Americans. Dean was knocking on the door. Saldano, Paz an All-American too. So, I mean, you got Herrera as a freshman. It's a tough guy. I don't know. I mean, you could see 6, 7 All-Americans, and we all know that tournament, you could come away with 0. So it's definitely, they got to do the right thing and train hard. I think they could be a top 10 team, I think for sure. So I think, their goals are a little higher than that, but I want to see them hang around the top 10, top 4 or 5 in the Big Ten, and I think that's a successful year for them.
When you look back at your time, again, you came in at a time where guys were still in the barn, you were still growing. It was the first year in the Big Ten. You wrestled with Anthony Ashlow, who ended up winning the national title as well. You're a 2-time All-American yourself. When you see that growth from what you guys helped build at that point in the early stages of the Big Ten to what it is now, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's just like it kind of awesome to know that all the hard work you put in and everything is paid off. I'm happy these guys get to enjoy, everything that we built and the hard work we put in, and even from the guys before me, and pass it on. Now they got a new room, everything is so much different, and it gives them the best opportunity to succeed. And, you kind of give yourself a pat on the back knowing that, it kind of paid off.
I got to ask you one more thing. You mentioned the new room, but, when you were around here, it was down the College Avenue basement. I was on the club team here back then. We used it right after that. It was, it's in the it's so dark. It's in the back. Do you still prefer that over the new toys they have now?
Absolutely. I think that defined us. We kind of wrestle with a chip on our shoulder because, you join the Big Ten, you go to all these universities, you see the state-of-the-art wrestling room, this, that. Then you come back and the shape of that room. I don't need to harp on it, but kind of was like that's the kind of way we wrestled, kind of like junkyard dogs, and had an attitude and a chip on our shoulder. And I still prefer it. I still prefer it. Now the glitz and glamour, it's not for me.
It's the Jersey Tough mentality right there. Anthony Parate with us on the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL. Nick Costco alongside my broadcast partner, Matt House. So, Matt, in closing today, I'm really excited about this season. You and I have seen a lot over the course of, we're going on almost 10 years at this point with this program.
Yep.
When you talk about what we see here today, it seems like, again, I use that word renewal at the top of the show. There's a renewal. You see you see the same old faces, but you also see some new faces. And again, that blue collar mentality Coach Power talked about. and also I think getting over the hump more so than ever from head coach Scott Goodale. That seems to be the message here with a month ago before the season starts.
Yeah, I think out of everything today, I liked what Coach Goodale said most. It's about, taking that next step. And, people say that a lot, teams say that a lot, but he really means it this year. It's not about being top 20, top 15 in the country now. Now it's, hey, let's be a top 10 team in the country. Let's have multiple All-Americans. Let's have multiple NCAA champions. It's, it's a very tough task, but this team, they have the guys to do it. They have the coaching staff to do it. So it's about taking that next step. I think that's the biggest key for this year, and Coach Goodale seems, really set on getting that done.
I'm not going to ask for any predictions, but is there one thing that you are in particular looking out for this year as we roll into the season? Obviously, the winter's coming; it's coming fast. But it seems like is there one thing that you're really looking forward to this year?
Yeah, I think going back to, again, what Coach Goodale said is just, multiple All-Americans, get 3 or 4 guys on that podium, and I think they can do it, with the experience that they have in this room and the new faces, and it's going to be fun. Another thing, I know you asked for one, but seeing all those young stud freshmen that are going to get their chance in the lineup this year, that'll be fun because, development as a freshman, you can see that progress, and, hopefully what we see this year as them on the mat as a freshman, we can build for down the road, sophomore, junior seasons, and that's going to make this team even better down the road.
Well, Matt, it surely will be an exciting season. Looking forward to all of it. Be sure to check all the matches out at home on Big Ten Plus, where Matt and I will be on the call as always. December 6th, the home opener against Lock Haven. We'll see how they do out in Toms River. A bit of a showcase event there with journeymen, so we're looking forward to that as well. But for Matt Howe, I am Nick Costco saying so long. Once again, this is the Rutgers Wrestling Preview Show, sponsored by GGL.